when you're up in the air, like what goes through your mind when you're there and you're like there? Because you pretty much fly for like hours, right?
Right. So in a combat sortie, I think my longest combat sortie was 13 hours, but
Jesus.
standard is about 8. And in a fighter jet, I can't get up and walk around, so I'm staying seated the entire time. So your legs kind of go to sleep on you, but
Okay.
but it's not really a ton of time to think about a lot of. So depending on where you are and depending on how far your drive is to the AOR,
yes.
then you maybe got time to relax your brain a little bit. But once you cross that line, then you're pretty much engaged the entire time. With the exception of maybe going out to the tanker, you can kind of let your guard down a little bit and kind of just kind of process everything that just happened. But then once you come back from the tanker, then you need to kind of strap back in mentally and kind of be focused on everything. So all your systems in the jet, what's going on the ground, listening to the guys talk to you, and just kind of battle managing everything that's going on around you at that point.
But what about your family though?
Well, when you're in the mix, it's not really time to be thinking about that, because that's it's kind of like your brain's kind of like a computer, right? So you can only process X amount of tasks, right? So if I'm thinking about my family and watching the guys on the ground and worrying about where I am,
then there's priorities.
Yeah,
right. So I kind of take.
It's too much.
If it's not like once I'm behind the line, I kind of take my CPU and only manage the things I need to be managed to make sure I get back home.
But that's what I'm saying. He's thinking about his family. He's thinking about getting home.
Yeah.
So he has to concentrate on what he's doing.
What you got to do, your task.
Sure
So Devin, the same thing. I know we work together pretty much all day, every day, but the same thing. Like when you're moving from base to base to base, like what's the wear and tear on your mental, your physical, your spiritual? Like what goes with that?
Well, I mean, the most movement I did was when I was deploying, and I deployed twice, and that's when they just move you from base to base to base to base till you get to your base.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I was out there for, the first time I was out there for around 14 months, and then the last one was 12 months. So, of course, I missed my family during that time, of course, and I wasn't I was in combat, but I wasn't I'm not a combat, like MOS at all, but I was in a combat area. So we did have a lot of mortaring and different things that went on, and a lot of rockets and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was fairly safe. So I did know, there's a chance, if it happens, it happens, but I'm trying to get home too. So I just did what I had to do. We protected ourselves the best we could.
Got it.
So, but that's what it's really about. You're out there thinking about your family. I'm always getting in contact with my mom out there and stuff like that. They have ways for you to be in contact, and I think it's important because there's a lot of people that lose it out there. Yeah. Like mental health is serious. That's where a lot of people get the most PTSD and different things happen just from different situations.
I see.
Out there. So it's important.
Yeah, it's especially for the Army. I really felt bad for you guys out there. I really felt bad. Like they have the Army and Air Force, they have different kind of like policies on deployment. So I deployed as AFSOC, my first deployment. We were doing 2 months on, and then you go home for like 2 to 4 months, and you go back out there. So I served my 2 months, and I met an Army guy that was really nice. We met him in the dining facility, and I left, and I didn't have to come back till like another 8 months after that, and he was still there. Yeah, he was still there. So the Army, they do not do the mass rotations like as well as the Air Force. As like I think they just don't do it.
The shortest I ever heard of somebody was out there was like 6 months. A unit was out there, and then they switch, and then 6 months, but not my unit.
So that's crazy. Like his shortest is 6 months, whereas our, for the most part, the masses, our longest is about 6 months. Unless you're taking command. There's some deployments for a year, like you can do a 1 year remote somewhere, or if you're taking command while you're out there. So like my uncle Arthur, he would take command in somewhere, and he could be there for a year, or like Roy, if he took command, Gina, if they took command, they'd be there for a year. But for me, as a fighter guy, like my squadron will be tasked to go out there for 6 months, and then another squadron of the same plane will replace us in another 6 months. But like the Army guys, they're just out there.
But let's be real. When you're on the Air Force base, y'all living it up.
Absolutely.
Y'all living it up.
What type of food are y'all eating?
Crazy.
Absolutely.
They used to have the best food when I was on the Air Force base.
Filet mignon.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I hear lobster.
Massage parlors. They have suit shops. Like the base I went to when I deployed, they had all this stuff. It was luxury. I was like, what is this?
So what is this? So the first base I went to was Ali Al Salim in Kuwait. And
Shout out
there's
Kuwait.
Army,
Shout out.
There's Army there and there's Air Force there. The Army guys, they stayed in tents, like big, like massive tents.
Oh yeah, I would have died.
10-man
I would have
Yeah,
died.
like more than that. It was some.
Yeah,
like,
20-man tent sometimes.
And so, so that's just your sleeping quarters. And if they want to go use the restroom, they would have like at least probably a half-mile walk. To the bathroom, to the shower.
In Kuwait?
Yep, to the shower.
It's hot as hell out there.
Yep. Okay, and then the Air Force. So the Air Force erected us kind of like college dorms. We had a roommate, but then we had a bathroom in our room. So like I get out of bed, I take
y'all
7 steps.
bourgeois.
They take care of them.
And then let me tell, I did not feel I didn't realize how bad the Army had it until the AC unit in our dorms went out and we had to stay in the tents for like a week, and I hated it.
Oh yeah.
Because in the middle of the night, it's still ridiculously cold or ridiculously hot, and then you have to get up and walk a half a mile to use the bathroom. By the time you get back, you're wide awake.
Yeah.
You're probably not going back to sleep.
Yeah.
So
then there's people all around you in different states of sleep. Some are up, some are playing video games. Like,
some are
it's insane.
Some are having fuzzy tingle time.
Yeah. You
can hear that.
That happened a lot.
Oh my God.
That happened a lot.
So okay, so I'm gonna bring it back home, and when I say home, I'm gonna bring it back to Clark County, Nevada.
County. Is that where I am?
Yes, you are in Clark County. You're in Las Vegas. But right now you're sitting in Henderson, Nevada. Okay.
All right.
So what are you here for? How did you even get here? Why are you even sitting on this podcast right now?
Okay, so the Air Force, Nellis Air Force Base, that is Fighter Town, USA. So that's where our we do a lot of advanced training. So like our weapons school there. So you've seen the movie Top Gun?
Yes.
So like the Navy has its weapons school, and we have our own weapons school. Our weapons school for for the fighters are out here, and we have some that are detached. So the B-52's weapons school is in Barksdale, for example.
Okay.
So right now we're doing this big red flag exercise. So red flag 22-3, where a lot of different people with different aircrafts, they come here and we do kind of like a massive kind of war game, if you will. So there's sometimes guys are pretending to be bad guys, kind of replicating their aircraft and replicating their missiles and their kind of surface-to-air missile systems. And then you have us, the other guys will be playing the good guys. So we'll be playing as the U.S.
Oh, you're on a good guy team. Good.
Well, so you can go from red to blue. So Blue Air is basically the good guy. So I was supposed to fly Blue Air today. We got weather canceled. I'm supposed to fly Red Air on Wednesday. So pretending to be a bad guy representing like some other countries.
I don't like you being on the bad guy team.
I'm a good bad guy. I'm good at anything.
Okay, good. Just stay on the good guy team. Our family's on the good guy team.
If the bad guy saw how good I was, they might offer me a contract.
Hey, I'm down. We're down with the contract. We're down with the contract.
Can't be down with the contract.
Can't be down with the contract.
No,
okay, can't be down. Okay,
Yeah.
forget that. Erase that part. We got to do some editing. Erase the good and bad guy part.
Yeah, so that's what brings me here. And then every time I come out here, if I'm on an Air Force sponsored trip, then I gotta hang out with my family. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
it's wonderful seeing you, and we appreciate you. Number one,
no doubt,
for spending time with us, and then number two, for sharing your story, coming on the podcast. Do we have any more questions for Major Wayne? All right. Let's bring it, Ken Lou. Bring it, King.
You were listening to the Professionals Podcast, straight out of Southern Nevada on Water Street in Henderson.
Opinion on dating in the military?
It's just like anything else. I mean,
Clear your voice first.
just like everything else, So, with the exception of that person may move. So, if you guys are not married, then one of you guys could get moved somewhere else, and so then there's that thing. Whereas if you meet somebody in Henderson, for the most part, or you meet somebody wherever you live, and for the most part, you guys are going to stay there unless you're like a high up in some company and the company wants to move you. But in the Air Force, especially for the officers, we move every 2 to 3 years. So if you're an officer and you're dating another officer, because that's the only legal thing you can do. You can't date the enlisted, right?
Oh.
So the enlisted can stay at a certain base for years on end, whereas the officers have to move.
Enlisted is the lower ranking people.
Enlisted are the
can't
people.
saying that,
Enlisted are the people who didn't go to college. Let's put it that way.
So I start.
Got it. Okay.
Me, Roy, Gina.
So the lower ranking people.
Well, they have lower ranking people with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. But the only thing I'm trying to say is I'm trying to figure out how this works. Okay, so don't judge me.
Okay, so it's basically, let me see how to I just don't like when you say that. Like,
Okay, I'm sorry. I take it back.
So,
The high listed people.
so it's basically,
Just check it.
so it's basically if you can imagine, it's like two halves, right? And you have this half over here, and you have this half over here.
Yes.
This half over here is they have college degrees at a minimum. So some on this side, they also have college degrees, right? So,
Okay.
but from this side, this is where you get like your base commanders. Like you have to be a pilot. If you want to be a pilot, you have to be on this side. Like different jobs require you to be on this side. And then there's some jobs that on this side you have to be enlisted to be on this side. So it's not that like lower rank. Technically, so the highest ranking enlisted person is outranked by the lowest ranking officer.
I see.
Yep.
Right, but I still have a ton of respect. I started out enlisted, so I have a ton of respect for the enlisted.
Absolutely.
If the Air Force had said that, hey, I could have flown enlisted, I probably would have stayed enlisted.
I see.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of brilliant people on the enlisted side. Some of my best friends and mentors are still enlisted, and I find for the most part it's very easy to talk to them because they're more down to earth than some of the people over here, and they still like, I don't know. I hate to say like better people, but they're more.
No, it's just we're playing a different game.
Playing
a different game.
Right,
it's almost like when we looked at officers, as playing politics.
I got it.
Like that's what we looked at, because when the general came in the room, I saw how nice the general was to all the enlisted guys,
right?
But treated the officers like crap.
Yeah.
Just dog crap. Like, you're nothing to me. Like, I didn't get it. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Maybe it was because the clamoring. I don't know what it was, but maybe it was just he had to do it. I don't know. I have no idea. We were deployed at the time.
You hear the civilians, right? So stay humble. Stay humble.
Yeah.
No, our family's very humble. I gotta bring that back so you guys understand. We are from like the pits of the hood in Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah. So we are totally I was totally joking about the enlisted thing, by the way. But yeah, just had to clean that up.
So me, Roy, Gina, my older brother's still enlisted. So we all got our starts there. So I'm very thankful for that time. It taught me a lot. And
but they can move to the ones that are not enlisted can move every 2 years.
You're pretty much you will move every 2 to 3 years.
You will. Yeah, okay. So if you're dating another enlisted person,
which that's illegal, so an officer cannot date.
Okay.
An enlisted.
You just said that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But I meant if you date another officer. That's where I meant. So that officer can go somewhere else in 2 years, and you can go somewhere else in 2 years.
Absolutely.
Totally across the map.
And it depends on when you met them. So let's say I've been in a base for 2 years. I'm coming hot for a PCS, which is a permanent change of station.
Okay.
And that person just got there, and they still have a ton of time at this location. Well, I'm going to leave in a year to a couple months, and then they're still going to be there. So, but if you get married, let's say you fast track it, you get married, and you can do a joint spouse whereas they will keep you guys together as long as you have two career fields that can go to the same base. So, like say, for example, me, if I married someone who worked in the med group, or like a nurse or something like that.
Yeah.
Wherever they send me next, probably going to have nurses. So it's a high likelihood that person can also go to my base. But if there was something like super specialized where they're at like pad.
Who would want that? I mean, me and DJ Silva got to work together like every day. I mean, it's like 2 officers. I mean, like seriously. I just had to throw that out there. Woo! Y'all didn't know what to do with it, huh? I know. Y'all was like, hey.
I still don't.
Y'all can just let it out. It's okay.
Like
it's okay.
What do you say? Always married?
Always married. We are always married.
Man.
All right, on to the next question.
Okay.
What's up?
Now, I'm a big conspiracy theorist.
Big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Big, like huge?
Huge.
Like state of Texas size?
Huge.
Alaska size?
United States size.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
What have you seen?
What have I seen?
Over water, underwater.
Overwater, underwater.
I mean, not overwater. I should say
big whales.
Over water, under sky.
Okay.
Over water, under sky. What have I seen? You got to be more specific.
Like big whales, not big whales. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you're not talking whales? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Whales?
Go ahead.
Talking whales? I'm talking aliens. I'm talking
aliens.
Aliens. What have you seen? Come on. I know you've seen something.
I mean, you just see lights and they kind of move a certain way. I don't know what they are, though.
What do you mean you don't know what they are?
Whoa.
It's dark and the night's full of terrors.
But don't you got all these high-tech radars and all this stuff? Can't you see it?
No.
King Lou, I love it.
But
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up because
I
you are
never-
getting out of control.
No,
He's
what-
about to go hard.
what are
He's
you
about to go
asking?
hard.
no.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Just bring it. Bring it, King Lou. Just bring
So
it.
they've already announced that aliens exist, right?
They did?
Yes.
I didn't get a brief.
Yes,
on
they
that.
have.
They
Yeah.
did? Who
Yeah.
did?
The United States.
They did? I didn't hear that.
I'm pretty sure that happened like last year sometime.
I didn't hear that. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
It was
but
during
didn't come
COVID.
across
It was during COVID.
During COVID.
Nobody even cared though. Nobody even made a splash about it.
Yeah.
No.
We'll be linking that
I feel
news to
like-
this just so you guys
I
know.
feel
We'll be
like-
linking the announcement to this. King Lou
You're
is
not
going to
hiding
link
it
it.
from me, are
So,
you?
no, I wouldn't do that, but I would just say I am not, maybe this is a flaw of mine, but I'm not the most plugged in dude because, like, I don't really care to have social media or nothing like that.
So you're
right?
not woke.
I don't even know what that means, really.
All right. See, he ain't woke. He ain't woke.
Throw it around
He
or
ain't
whatever.
woke.
But, like, everything I kind of need to know gets briefed to me from intelligence. So intelligence has yet to talk to me about aliens.
Oh, okay.
So in my spare time, I'm
Yeah,
either.
but what did you see though? You had to see something.
I did not. I'm telling you, I did not see an alien. Like the rocket watch and be like, oh man,
But
is that
what
an
do you
alien?
see,
I've
though?
never seen an alien. But you can in at night. You know, you can see lights, but that could be shots or from something bouncing off the atmosphere. Because sometimes there's clouds, so the atmospherics can cause you to see lights. Or I can
Is
see
that
something.
the excuse?
What excuse?
Is that the excuse?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. We are totally going
I
to
haven't
wrap
seen
this
anything.
up.
And I've never gotten a brief from Intel about aliens.
Okay.
No, I
Wow.
like these kind of questions.
Listen. So, Major Wayne, I just want to thank you again for coming on the show.
Yeah, no
Cut me
problem.
short.
And King Lou, you know you always welcome. You
Always
already
cut
know
me
you.
short. We need
You,
to, we gonna have
he-
longer
he the
podcasts in the
co-host.
future.
He
You
the
already know.
co-host. He the
We need-
co-host,
we
so
need
he
part
can
two.
always
You
get,
already know.
Just-
you know,
just
cut
conspiracies,
short.
right?
You already
So
know. Yep.
I want to thank you guys. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep making those comments in the comment section. And everybody's always welcome to come back to the Professionals Podcast.
All of my entrepreneurs, business owners, it's time that we give you the insight you
All right,
need.
let's
The
go.
Professionals
Ooh,
Podcast.
I messed up.
What do
DJ
you got?
Silver,
Wait, you
Lady
didn't even
L,
look?
got it
Did you
poppin',
even
keep
look at
it
the card? You
hype.
didn't
No.
hit?
Topics
No,
out
I
of
didn't look.
Henderson,
I vote.
Nevada, level
told you, I
up.
knew you
If
buzzed when I saw
run a
you.
business or got aspirations, this the show.
18.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice.
it
He
looks like
wins
you ended up winning.
it. Well, he's back on.
Wait, why are we doing that? That's not what we're doing. You're gonna kick people off and not let them come back if they lose?
Yeah.
You see this? Okay, if that's the case, we gotta go then.
Hey.